If you are thinking recently of buying a new Star Wars game to play or replaying an old one, I have got you covered. These are 7 Star Wars games you need to play. At number 7 is Star Wars Battlefront 2. And no, I am not talking about the newer one, but the 2005 one. I am putting this one in just because of the nostalgia that's hitting me as I'm talking about it. Star Wars Battlefront 2 is basically the game for all Star Wars fans because it includes almost everything you could want. You can battle in space, fight as a soldier, Jedi, Wookiee, Separatist, Sith, and much more. You can create epic battles in the Star Wars universe with a variety of game modes available like Conquest, Assault, Capture the Flag, and Hunt, with servers up to 64 players. You can also play in the single player experience, where you join the Rise of Darth Vader's 501st Legion of Stormtroopers as you fight through a story-based saga where every action impacts the battlefront and the fate of the galaxy. Also, this game has a lot more locations, classes, and vehicles than the first game, and that is why I put Battlefront 2 on this list. OG Battlefront 2 is very fun to play, even 18 years later, the only problem being that, as you can realize, there aren't a lot of people playing the game, so there won't be many multiplayer servers. But even so, the campaign and offline features are worth it for 10 euros, and I recommend this game for those that want to play a cheap Star Wars game that is a lot of fun. Next up is the Force Unleashed series. I decided to put both Force Unleashed games into one because I don't have as much to say about them. I played the first game when I was very young, so I don't remember a lot of the game. However, I do remember enjoying dragging people through the air a lot. Perhaps I need to replay this game and play the second game for the first time, but I don't even have to do that to know that these games are liked by all people that tried them. Some fans want Starkiller to become canon, even if that isn't possible, but that shows how beloved these games are. Star Wars The Force Unleashed completely reimagines the scope and scale of the Force and casts players as Darth Vader's secret apprentice seen through the eyes of Starkiller. They are story-driven single-player games and they aren't canon, but still you should play these because, again, they aren't expensive, yet you can have a lot of fun abusing the Force powers and combat in them. Besides the graphics, the Force Unleashed 1 and 2 are great. Next up is Jedi Fallen Order. This is the first one of the series and I can already guess that almost everyone watching this has already played it. However, if you didn't, just do it. This is one of the few games released during the EA era and it is a great one. This narratively driven single player game puts you in the role of a Jedi Padawan who narrowly escaped the Purge of the Order 66 following the events of Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith. On a quest to rebuild the Jedi Order, you must pick up the pieces of your shattered past to complete your training, develop new powerful Force abilities, and master the art of the lightsaber, while staying one step ahead of the Empire and its deadly Inquisitors. You can get this game very cheap if you get it from some site that has a discount on it, and you won't regret if you do. You will need to approach enemies strategically, sizing up strengths and weaknesses, while cleverly utilizing your Jedi training to overcome your opponents and solve the mysteries that lay in your path. It has a very cool idea, and you get to explore the fall of the Jedi again, an era that wasn't explored as much by a lot of Star Wars games. Also, this is a newer game, so the graphics are a lot better than in Battlefront 2 and Force Unleashed, and Respawn has done a great job with the combat because it feels very satisfying. If you haven't played Fallen Order yet, you need to. That's all I'm going to say to you. At number 4 is LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. Some people think that if it is a LEGO game, then it is not worth it. If that's the reason you didn't play this game, well, no offense, but you're stupid. Besides the fact that this is a LEGO game, it is the best LEGO game by far. Nothing comes even close. The gameplay doesn't even feel like a LEGO game. Besides the main story, you can travel and explore different planets, conquer battleships in space, and do all sorts of side missions to unlock new characters and abilities. I want to talk a little bit about The story. You can choose the trilogy that you want to start with. The cutscenes are funny and the battles are really nice. The Battle of Geonosis in particular was my favorite by far because of how many separatists were coming into the arena, and it was very well designed. Have I mentioned that you can explore over 23 planets? There are more than 300 playable characters excluding DLCs and 100 vehicles to command like the Death Star. It is just massive. The only con that comes with such a massive game is the price. It is around 50 euros. However, it has been a year and I am sure there are sites where this game costs less. I'd give it a 10 out of 10. Before I continue with the next game, like and subscribe if you like my content so far. I have recently made a video about how great this game is, so that's why I am including it. Republic Commando. Again, the graphics are horrible, but everything else is top tier. If you could be able to try the game, I'd be more than sure that you would buy it after trying it. It is one of those games that have features no other game in history has implemented. As leader of an elite squad of Republic Commandos, your mission is to infiltrate, dominate and ultimately annihilate the enemy. Your squad will follow your orders and your lead, working together as a team under your command. With intuitive and smart squad commands, the touch of a button easily controls your squad to perform complex commands and strategic maneuvers. Aspyr Media recently remastered the game and that's how I bought it. Again, it is the only strategic shooter that I'd call my favorite, so I promise you won't be disappointed if you try it. Notice how I've mostly talked about single player games. That's because we've had a lot more single player games than multiplayer, which is a shame. However, there is a Star Wars multiplayer game that I still play to this day, Battlefront 2. This time it's actually the new one. What is there to say about it? It is the game that every Star Wars fan could play and have even more fun than in the 2005 version or any other multiplayer Star Wars game. It is a shame that support for it was cancelled back in 2020 and to this day we don't have a proper multiplayer game to play. Again, if you haven't played Battlefront 2, what are you waiting for? Even if it isn't receiving updates anymore, a lot of people still play it and you can find a match easily. It does almost everything that the OG Battlefront did right and the graphics are really good, so I'd call it an improvement. I am curious how much longer it will take for us to get a new multiplayer game, but until then, Battlefront it is. And the number one goes to Jedi Survivor. It is actually a recent game launched in April of this year. If you thought Fallen Order is great, wait until you play this game. It has improved in every category possible and is quite long for a single player game. It took me around 20 hours to beat the story. The combat is even more satisfying than before and the worlds are even bigger for you to explore. I've seen a lot of people complain about the bugs and issues with the game, especially on PC. I played it on PS5 where I didn't encounter anything other than a crash at some point in the story, so if you're thinking about buying the game on PC, I don't know if the issues are fixed by now, but even if you encounter some problems, I still think it's worth it and you should still get this game, especially if you're playing on console. Another 10 out of 10 besides the bugs and problems with it, which is no small category, but yeah. There were a few games that I didn't include like KOTOR and Dark Forces because they're both getting a remake or remaster and I have played neither of them. Speaking of Star Wars games you need to try, this mobile game just got a huge update. Check it out by clicking on this video right here. Bye.